All right, so today's going to be a little bit different. I am going to reply to some of the comments first of all, and then we're going to see how far we get with the actual coding. But there were a fair few comments on last week's video, or last video rather. And I thought it makes sense to kind of reply to it, or to some of them, because I was going to reply in the comment section, but realized that my replies to them was going to be too long and made it sound weird. So I'm going to reply to it here instead. And also, I have seen all this stuff about Veo3. I've been trying to get into Veo3, like Google's AI video generator for, or like, I assumed that it wouldn't be this easy, but apparently, so I've heard. I'm actually in the US right now, but I've heard other people are using VPNs, and maybe it is actually that easy. So now I do have access to Veo3, and I am thinking that we're going to generate this video. We're going to see what it creates while I reply to some of the comments. So we gotta have something that we can anticipate or wait for in the meantime. I've been playing around a little bit with it, but not that much. So first of all, this is what I wanted to create. I want to see a hyper-realistic stationary camera shot of James Bond sliding up to the camera in a car on a dirt road. Lots of dust all around the car, windows roll down. The car stops so close to the camera that we see... So the idea is that I want it to be like the car starts out, slides down like a hill or something, like a curve, and then it slides like up to the camera, and at the end of it, it's like you can see just the window and like his face very close. Oh, I just realized you probably didn't hear that, but his face really close to the camera, and the idea is that there's lots of dust because it's a dirt road, and because he has the windows rolled down, he'll be covered with dirt, and he'll like cough. Okay, call dust. So he'll cough some dust, and then he'll say, "I didn't think that through. Now get in." That's the idea. That's the scene that I would like to build or create on a dirt road. All right, so we're going to generate that, and then I'm going to try to reply to some of the comments, and we'll see what it creates from this prompt. Probably not the best prompt, but... Okay. So the first one, the one that made me want to reply to in this sort of format, was by Sviculus7369. And he says, "I've watched your videos for a while now, and here's the honest truth. Build an MVP using something like SQLite with your own backend, Pocket-based or a NoSQL solution like Firebase and Mongo, which could be better than an SQL-based thing for your kind of app. No premature optimization, no AI building your stack, even if you plan on rewriting, but your videos, and then he like says that even if you plan on rewriting, your videos worry me of how much you rely on AI for mission critical stuff. Hope your app gets flooded with users that you'll need to migrate your database, but that's not something that you need to worry about right now. And I think this was like, there's a lot of fair points here. And in retrospect, I think you're definitely correct. Like I should have started out this thing just writing the whole thing myself. I think that's that is definitely correct. At this point, I think it might be a good idea to use Superbase. And that's basically based on the other comment, which is a reply here from Sam BRD again. There's nothing really... Wait, actually. Sam BRD actually commented later on this video and says that... he says that I think Superbase is the best because it's PostgreSQL and you can always self-host, and you can also export the database and plug it into your future backend if you choose. And that's kind of the thing that from what I understand, that's how it works. And that's why I think that it's a good idea too, because I think that PostgreSQL is or Superbase is a way for me to kind of host a database that I can then take somewhere else if I wanted to. And that's probably going to be easier than locking myself into AWS. And the relying on ChatGPT stuff for mission critical things, I think what I wanted to say was just that I think maybe it's, if you haven't seen me anywhere else except on this channel with these videos, or this is the first time you see me on these videos, then I think it looks like I know absolutely nothing except I plug things into ChatGPT, which isn't completely, it's not super far from the truth, but it's just that I want to add some context to this, which is that I have built out my full stack apps in the past without pre-ChatGPT. I've got a different channel where I've done lots of different projects with Postgres, creating my own servers, doing all kinds of things. So I've done that. I'm not saying I'm an expert in it and I don't necessarily understand it fully, but I kind of understand enough to be able to work with it and do it. A lot of times I am a little bit lazy with ChatGPT, so I'll be like, just write this page for me. And we haven't really gotten to the point yet where the stuff that I do know how to do quite well, or not quite well, but good enough, I guess, where I need to actually apply that, if that makes sense. Right now, I'm literally asking ChatGPT to generate full layouts for me for the app, which that's what I've been doing the most of in the past, building out different apps in Flutter and doing front end mostly of that stuff. So I would know how to fix that. It's just that it takes a long time to just set up a home page for an app that has a button there, that has a login thing there, that has blah, 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 all these fields, text fields, all that kind of stuff. It just takes time. And I feel like it makes more sense to just ask ChatGPT to do it. And it will do maybe it'll do 50% of the work in terms of it won't look exactly the way that I want it to look, but it'll be good enough where I can just kind of tweak it, change the color or do those sort of things and make it look the way that I want. And I don't really know myself where you get to the point where you're using it too much. And I don't know what is mission critical either. Also, within this context of this app that I'm building, I'm using AWS, or I've been using AWS and Amplify, which is something that I've never used before at all. So I've only used it in the time that I've tried to build this stuff with ChatGPT. So for that stuff, I've definitely relied, like I built things with Firebase before, and I assumed that the Amplify stuff would be Firebase, but the AWS version. But it's just that as I've gotten more and more like entrenched in AWS, I've just realized that there's way more complexity to AWS than there is to the stuff that I've built before in Firebase. I've also never really worked with like backend logic where we actually have functions running on the backend side. I've always written that on the client side before, which is because I haven't really had a server. I haven't had stuff like that up on a server somewhere. So with AWS, I've definitely relied too much on ChatGPT under the pretense or the misconception I've realized that I thought I wouldn't have to rely as much on that. I thought the biggest part would be, I thought it would be like, well, I can get ChatGPT to do the stuff that I don't know on AWS, and it would just like do that for me, and it'll be pretty, like, it'll work pretty good. It might be a little bit of bugs, but it won't be that crazy. And then I can get ChatGPT to build some of the stuff for the front end, but that I can tweak myself because I understand how to tweak that. But I've realized that if I wanted to use AWS, I'd probably need to study it a lot more than what I have. So I don't understand that well enough to actually work with it. Whereas like I've built databases in Postgres before, I've built APIs, REST APIs myself before. I kind of know how to do that, even though I couldn't like blindly sit down right now and write a REST API. I've done it before. I know that if I just go back into it, I will refresh it and I will kind of understand how to do it. And that's how most of my knowledge works when it comes to this stuff. I don't know the literal lines of code, but I know the overarching, like, this is sort of what I need and this is sort of what I need. And then I can get ChatGPT to write some of that stuff. And then I will understand the code that ChatGPT writes. Right now, I don't really understand the code that ChatGPT writes for AWS because I don't understand AWS. I don't know what Veo3 is, what that package is that it imports into the Lambda functions. I can follow the Lambda functions and I can understand what is happening, but I don't know why it does certain things a certain way. And I think that is due to the complexity of AWS and that's why I think reducing some of the complexity, going over to a system like Supabase, which is, I guess, it's like hosting your own database and you can kind of create Postgres things. You can do Postgres queries or SQL queries to it in just way simpler ways. Like you're not doing SQL queries with Amplify or AWS stuff. You're doing other queries that are like AWS specific from what I understand so far. And that means that the general language for getting stuff from databases is not what I'm going to be using. And that is what I have known before or have used before. I know a little bit about it. So it's even like creating the relationships in the database is not the same as creating an SQL database. Like that was the biggest thing that I've been working on for this app, is just setting up the relationships within different like tables. Like it's not just, you can't just be like, well, I don't remember how you do this in SQL, but I know that you can do this, where you can just be like, well, this, the ID of this user is connected to this thing, and you just connect that. It's super easy. It's like one of the easiest things that you can do. in AWS or Amplify, it's one of the freaking hardest things you can do. It took me so long just to figure out how that system works. I still don't like, now I've just not worked with that for a month or something, and I couldn't really tell you how it works, to be honest. And I think I almost got it about a month ago when I worked with it last. And so the thing is just like, it just added so much complexity, and it's so much like platform specific knowledge that isn't like industry wide knowledge that everyone uses. And SQL is going to be what everyone uses. Postgres is something that is like classic, is what we used in university. It's what I would say that I will be most comfortable with. And since you can then on Superbase, you can export, like he said, you can export your database and then just basically, I guess, put it somewhere else on your own server or in your own system that you build yourself at some point. It's just going to be way easier. It's going to be less platform lock-in from what I understand. So I think that's going to be the best way. And I really want to emphasize that there's like a conflict in me that I want to show that anyone could do this, because like it's not really that hard. And the knowledge that I have is not hard to get. I literally think if anyone could do what I'm doing right now, especially with ChatGPT, Grok, all of these tools that exist out there for this sort of stuff. But I also don't want to undersell like how much I've done in the past. I've done a lot in the past, so I know some things at least, and I just want to add the disclaimer that I think I'm in that stage where I'm trying to figure out like how much can you rely on ChatGPT versus how much do you have to do yourself, or how much do you have to tweak of ChatGPT, how much do you have to actually look at the code and read through it. And sometimes I get stuck in like, there's that expression, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And sometimes I get stuck in like fast is fast and fast is fast. So I'm like, I just like, okay, just ChatGPT, just write this. And then I copy the code and I paste it and I try to use it. And then I realize, oh, that didn't work. ChatGPT, just fix this. Blah, 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 and I try to be fast with it, where I forget the concept of slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And the application in this case would be that maybe you can ask ChatGPT to build this thing, but then take that code, look through it, figure out, does this work? What do they change from the code that you do have? And then apply it. But sometimes I just get lazy, and that's the truth. So that's the idea. I don't know about mission critical stuff. Like I don't really see where you would not want to rely on ChatGPT, because it's not like, for me at least, for the level that I'm at, I don't feel like ChatGPT necessarily writes. I feel like on average ChatGPT will write better code than I will. So to me, it just seems like if I don't use ChatGPT to write this thing, it will probably be worse, simply based on like how understandable the code is. Because I think ChatGPT is pretty good at making understandable code to me, at least better than I am, because I will again do the fastest fast thing, and sometimes I won't comment my code the way that I should. I know, shocking, because everyone comments their code the right way. Everyone names their variables the right things and not hello one or blah blah blah, because everyone is perfect. But I will end up doing that stuff, and I won't be able to know when I go back through that code. I sometimes am just so stuck on trying to solve a specific issue that I will name a random variable because I'm just trying something and I know that I'm going to come back and I'm going to change that in the future. And I don't care right now. I just want to get that solved. So I'll just name it blah, blah, blah. And then I never come back to it. And then I come back to it like 3 months later, and all of a sudden I have no idea what that variable is doing. And apparently that variable is used in a critical function that actually solved the bug that I was working on that day, but I had to go do something else after I finished it. So I forgot to change it, blah, blah, blah. And I just think that ChatGPT will do a better job with that stuff. And I can then tweak the things myself if that's necessary. Sometimes I don't see that it is necessary, but yeah. And then Lemursa5236 also suggested, like, I suggest removing platform lock-in altogether. I'm an engineer with 8 years experience. Avoid Superbase, avoid Firebase, avoid Amplify, pick SQLite database, pick a JavaScript framework and build an open API spec and generate code, blah, blah, blah. All these platforms come with serious hidden complexity as well as being very easy to misconfigure. And yeah, that's pretty much the same thing. I think that's a good idea. I feel like, again, from what I've looked into it, I feel like Superbase is like the happy medium. It's kind of scaled back, so you can still use SQL queries. You can use all that stuff in a very easy way. And they still add some features like authentication. I think they have something like that to just help you make the signups and all that stuff a little bit more secure. But it doesn't add an infinite amount of complexity like something like Amplify does. I also think Firebase is a little bit more complex. Plus they have like super good free plans, I think. Because I used that for the Extra Logs app just because it was integrated with Lovable. And I think I got like 100 users or something like that in the app. And there's no need to pay anything from what I understand. So yeah, now that's it for the Q&A stuff. Now let's look at this video that was generated ages ago and see what we got. That's pretty good. Now, for some reason, I'm not able to access Flow, which is like, I think the better way to generate the videos. Like it says that you must be a Google AI subscriber to generate. Feel free to look around at the meantime. And if I press subscribe, I just get to like, you already are subscribed to this. And I think that's because I'm subscribed here where I live, and which is the US, obviously. So I think that is why I'm having a limitation, because I can't see any other reason why. And the thing is, if I don't, well, let's not go there. Okay. So I don't know if I can just like ask it to edit this thing, but let's see. Why do I spell it couch all the time? Cough. But I mean, that was a pretty good video. It was pretty much exactly like, I don't know what I explained to you and what you visualized, but this is pretty much exactly what I was thinking. Except it's not like a fully stationary shot. Like I would have liked it to be a tripod shot that's just like it's completely steady, no movement, and the car just like shoom slides up to the thing. Also, let me know if you want to do like Q&A videos, because maybe that's a good idea to have Q&As every now and then. I did also create a jungle swing video because I wanted to see, I just had this idea of Tarzan swinging through the jungle and I wanted to see if I could create that. And so I did it with Veo3 first. And this is what the prompt was. Generate a 10-second dynamic video of Tarzan swinging through the dense, vibrant jungle, fluid angle motion gibbon, with the motion of a gibbon. And the scene begins with a side view, blah, blah, blah. And I wanted to be like an FPV. And what I imagined was like an FPV drone from a really long distance flying slowly or kind of following him through the jungle and then like coming in behind him. And as he like finished swinging through multiple trees, it will be like right up close. And then he will land on a branch, slide down the branch, sit down, turn to the camera, and the drone kind of stops behind him. That was the idea. And this is what I got from Veo3. So it's like this monkey person combination, and it's like the jungle looks pretty good. The person doesn't look good at all. And it doesn't do any of the things that I asked for it to do almost. It just hangs from a vine. And then I tried it with Veo3. And this is what Veo3 created. Which is pretty good. It's not exactly what I wanted, but it's pretty good. It's nothing compared to this thing. I think this was like very good. I couldn't really imagine it being better than this. You can tell that it's AI, but it's like, you can just tell that it's AI. If you just look at the car sliding and all that stuff and the dust and the environment, I think this could be in a movie and you would think that it's just a VFX. Or maybe even you'd think that it was real. I don't know. What? Can you make him cough before delivering his line? All right, I could probably play around with this for I don't know how long. And I don't feel like I'm quite finished, but I think we should get to get back to the app and try to figure out the sign up flow. My goal for today is just to be able to have a user that is able to sign up to the app. And that's all that I want to achieve. And that means that we want to be able to add users to the Superbase database. So right now, the Google location thing was the thing that didn't work. So we seem to be able to zoom in and stuff, but it's just not. When we press continue, nothing happens. So we're going to have to ask it. What? All right, I'm not really sure what has happened here, but somehow it seems like I switched chat, and that must be a bug in Grok or something. I don't know what happened, but it just literally switched because I was like having this conversation with it, trying to ask it to change other files. And then it said like, well, you haven't shared those files. So I'll have to assume what those files contain. But I knew I wrote this whole message with like tons of different files in it. And it gave me the response where it rewrote all of these files. But then all of a sudden I see that if I scroll up that chat, like this is like one of those Truman Show moments where I was like, what the frick is going on? Because literally this is the message that I sent and this is the message that I sent, or I added stuff to it and I got the response. I've literally pasted in these files and now all of a sudden that is gone. I don't see it anywhere and I don't know what happened. Holy shit. What the hell? I guess I'll have to redo it. All right, and it seems like it now allows us to sign up. So we can sign up. Man, no, woman, birth date, first, and woman, man, location. We got an error for the location, so that's good, I think. Let's do hello world. And then finish. Error saving profile exception. Error saving. No authenticated user found. Okay. So now we can start debugging why the saving of the user didn't work. But at least we have the sign up flow. It looks the way that it looked before. But now it's using Supabase, I think. Now we can start debugging this. But that's going to be it for today. And yeah, I'll see you on Monday.